Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. This is a platform that was created solely by the youth department of Capital City Baptist Church, located at 149 7th Avenue in South Charleston. This social media platform called the Hot Plate is going to be used by our youth department as an outreach program to help witness and bring folks into church. We appreciate you guys logging in, like, subscribe, be prepared to even be on the show if you want to. But thanks for watching and thanks for listening.
Feeling hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
All right, welcome to the Hot Plate. We are going to be serving you up all of the hot topics. That's what the Hot Plate is. We're going to be giving you all the smoke, bringing the smoke. What does that mean? What's bringing? Is it something?
We're bringing all the hot topics.
What's
what it means.
Something about bringing the smoke. We're going to do that. I don't know what that means.
Hot.
We're going to talk about anything and everything.
We need to play our intro.
Yeah, anything and everything. Nothing is off limits. We're going to talk about everything. But there's one thing that we do not talk about.
Bruno.
We do not talk about Bruno.
Wait, who's Bruno?
7-foot frame, rats on his back. When he calls your name, it all fades to black. We don't talk about Bruno.
Okay.
All right, but anyway, thanks for joining, listening either via YouTube, live stream, whatever you got going on here on the podcast. This is Gracie.
Boop.
And Ben.
What's going on?
Both of them are part of the youth group here at Capital City Baptist Church. Our desire is to create this social platform that will allow us to bring content really as a witnessing tool, as an outreach program for mostly kids in their age, going into high school, maybe into college. But this is basically going to be their platform. I'm just here to sort of moderate it. The very first session that we have, we're going to be talking about different topics that you guys face. Some things that you guys wrote down that possibly other people are facing that they don't like to talk about. So with that, I'm going to turn it over. Gracie, this was kind of your idea. You kind of came up with the Hot Plate. Why don't you tell our viewers and listeners like exactly what this is, what you're trying to accomplish with this?
Just to help people who are struggling with these too, because we struggle with these daily, and we know that other people our age are struggling too, so we're just trying to help everybody and get them involved with Jesus.
And I will say, like, one of the biggest things that you have right now is that it is very encouraging for you guys to be the very first people to come onto this, to kind of do this, get out of your shell, put yourself out there, not knowing who's going to listen to it. But again, each and every one of the kids in our youth group were saying, we want to be able to kind of witness more. We want to be able to invite people to our church more. We want to be able to kind of have that presence and give some topics and stuff. So Ben, what do you think? What can you add to this show here?
I don't know. Just my presence is like.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Your presence is exactly what we needed.
that's just all y'all need. I don't even have to say anything, honestly.
No, not at all. All right. So
Not really.
but no, on a serious topic. So we're going to come up with just a few topics, talk about how that relates to you guys. Both of you are at different places in your life. Gracie with public school, kind of going through some of those issues and items that you may come across with sports, Ben, homeschooling, but then also being in the private or the public sector with sports and extracurricular activities. So we just want to kind of bring these couple of topics. So one of them was peer pressure. You guys wrote that down there. You wanted to talk a little bit about peer pressure. You wanted to just kind of talk about how you should deal with it, what you guys face. So I'm going to turn it over. Who wants to go first?
I guess I can go first since I go to school.
Bro, that
So obviously it's a different environment. I'm with a lot of kids that aren't saved and don't want to follow Jesus, so it's very hard to not stay with your faith, but try and stay away from those things. It's just, you have to learn which directions you need to go to and which places you need to avoid, because there are a lot of places in school that are not Christian friendly.
And I think peer pressure can work both for the good and for the bad. You know, I mean, I've been in a lot of situations where if you can gain someone into your close knit or your close circle, and you can start to become a little bit more active, you can start to, you know, live your life a little bit better, you can start to do, you know, Christian godly things, that puts a little bit of pressure on some people to want to try to do better. You know, as our youth group continues to grow, you know, we continue to have pressure to, you know, perform and do what we can for God in the best manner. So it can work in a positive light, but I also see, you know, you guys having to deal with it in a negative light too. You know, Ben, what do you face? What's some of the peer pressures? You know, does your teacher, you know, get mad at you a lot there? And
Oh, that's funny.
probably.
So, playing sports for public school is kind of, you know, been different than staying at home all day. So, you know, like one pressure I face is cussing. You know, everybody cusses. So I don't cuss. So everybody kind of, they always ask me. They're like, Ben, why don't you just cuss? Like it'd be way easier. Because I'm always like, frick, gosh darn it. You know, I'll miss a shot and I'd be like, dang it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, that's just a big one. And it was definitely hard at the beginning of like starting basketball and stuff. But
You know, that's one of the things about it is if people start to realize it's something that you don't do, they're going to make it a priority to try to get you to fall into that trap. And that's where your faith and your determination and your character has to play a big part in it. And it's tough, you know, and you face that, you know, throughout your whole life. One thing, like I've told you guys on Wednesday nights, is just to say things out there to throw out that you are, you know, a believer, that you are a Christian, that you don't do things like that. You know, so when somebody, you know, says something to you, Ben, you know, always just turn around and maybe say, well, I think I'll pray about that for a while. You know, catches them off guard. You know, they're just like, oh, wait a minute, you know, you're not, instead of them just continuing trying to pressure you into it. Outside of sports, you know, what's some of the other big peer pressure items that you guys face?
Um, with school, there's like a lot of pressure in relationships too.
Mhm.
So like people are pressuring you to get into relationships and to have that special connection with someone.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to deal with that too.
yeah, and definitely like doing things in that relationship.
Yeah.
That's like a big one.
Yeah.
Because like everybody's like, so have you had sex with her yet? And like,
Yeah.
have you done this and that? And it's like, no. And it's like, you're a wuss. Like, why haven't you done it? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely
Yeah.
also a big one. I get asked all the time about that.
And it's probably more for you in that area
definitely
because
for
of where
dudes.
you're a guy.
That's
Yeah.
a big one.
Yeah, I will tell you guys right now, do not get in any relationships until you're at least 30. Okay, you don't need relationships, right? So Jacob, he's behind the camera. He's still got like a year left, I think, before he turns 30.
Got a couple
Well,
years.
a couple years. He's 22. But if you are single and you want to go out with Jacob Hammock,
Yeah, he's behind the camera.
bcwb149@gmail.com. He's on Christian Mingle at jhammock.
He's a very handsome, respectable young man.
Yeah. Great guy. Great guy. All right, so we've talked a little bit about pressure. We've talked a little bit about you know, how we could use this platform. One thing that, you know, we also have written down is just the expectations versus reality. Now, you know, what you guys face as far as, is there any? I guess it kind of falls under pressure, but it's not under peer pressure. It's more or less like you feel the overwhelming response to have to succeed in life, whether that be through basketball, whether that be through school, whether that be through you know, being a good son, daughter, cousin, family member. How does that pertain to what you guys face every day? Just the
So with the Christian aspect, like, you know, I think I have to be perfect a lot of times, especially being a pastor's kid. It's like, you know, dad seems perfect, so I have to be perfect, you know.
Yeah.
So like, say I mess up, it's like, well, you know, I suck. I'm not a good Christian, you know. And usually I just get down on myself, but
so you find
So-
yourself comparing yourself to
yeah, I compare myself to my dad.
Okay.
And when I like mess up or something, it's like, what kind of Christian am I, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do the same thing. So I'll end up
Compare
messing.
yourself to his dad.
No.
Okay.
But like Christian women in the church, I'll do that all the time. So I'll mess up and I'll be like, "There's no way God can forgive me for this," even though He'll forgive you for anything.
Right.
So it's just really hard to like take like your first response is to go to prayer, and I usually try to do that, but sometimes it's hard. So I'll be like, "Oh, I gotta pray about this."
Yeah, and
God's got it.
I feel like he gets annoyed with me sometimes, the Lord, because like all the time I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, well, I messed up again, like, and then it's like the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So that's just a big one.
Yeah, I mean, it's very annoying whenever a son goes to a father and is just like, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. And from a father's standpoint, you just kind of get a little bit aggravated at it. Fun fact, God never does that with us. So it's a little bit different. I will say, I think that it's great that your first response, would be to pray about it. That is one of the things that we should always do. It doesn't have to be a big, deep, you know, heart searching type of prayer. It's just for guidance and for peace and understanding. And then also, reaching out to some people in our church, other people that are older than you that could be a little bit of a mentor. I think that's something that really helps you guys out. So go ahead, you will say something.
There's sometimes in school, like for example, I'll just be feeling overwhelmed and I'll just take like 3 seconds to pray and be like, God, help me with this. And he does.
So what does that feel like when you get overwhelmed? What do you mean? Like you feel like you can't breathe? Like you just what's overwhelming to you?
I stressed out and like I just feel like I want to break down and cry.
Okay. What is, do you ever get that way? Or you joke there?
I mean, not like,
Joe Burrow, cooler than the other side of the pillow, right?
yeah, sometimes. But I don't know, cause like I started taking classes, at public school, and like it's literally 2 classes, but like I'm like so far behind just because I don't want to do them, and so I kind of get overwhelmed in that sense. So I just kind of, yeah.
For me, I struggle a lot with anxiety. I think I think that's one thing that over the last 2.5 years that I've learned during the shutdown and during, the pandemic, and as people tend to not be able to go out and their lives change and their day to day, just joy was taken away from them by having to be in their house for so long. I realized that, anxiety and depression and, your mental health really plays a factor into it. And as you talk to people, my generation, the older generation, there's some people out there like, oh, suck it up, buttercup. I mean, it is what it is. But it's actually, something that can really affect, really affects a lot of, kids at your age, people that are, my generation are trying to raise a young family. So, anxiety, I mean, you guys ever struggle with that? Like, for me, like, it's a tightness of your chest, and you just feel like, all right, I can't take on another burden. I can't take on something else. I mean, what do you guys experience with that? Maybe you don't.
I mean, I don't really, not too much.
Okay,
I mean, I get worried
That's
sometimes,
good.
but like,
All right.
I don't think it's like terrible, which is good,
I'm the type of person that I will hold everything in until I end up exploding. So that's a struggle.
But what do you do when you explode? Who do you explode on?
Usually I explode on the smallest things ever that are agitating, and I don't know. It just depends if I'm not even if I'm comfortable with you. I don't know. It just happens.
Just go off?
Yeah.
All of a sudden?
Okay.
Probably do a lot to your sister.
Usually on my parents.
Okay. Not Haley?
Something. Yeah.
I'd say Haley would take a most.
Close friends, I do it, but then I'm like feel bad and I apologize.
All right. What about jealousy? Jealousy was one thing that you guys have written down here as a topic. What do you think? Good, bad?
No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I get jealous all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah, all the
All
time.
right, give me some.
Especially in relationships.
That's fine.
Talking about in general, like with friends or with.
So we do have a live audience here, which is pretty nice. We have probably 4 or 5, of our youth group that is here, and that is why every once in a while you see us looking over there. We're getting some feedback from the crowd. So no, jealousy is friends. So what does it? You mean like, hey,
So, like,
this
yeah.
is my friend. This is because I will tell you, God is a jealous God, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is good. I think that as He wants our attention, He wants our love, He wants our passion, He wants our fellowship, our communication, and it's okay in that aspect. So you guys tell me what you were talking about.
Well, I think Gracie can.
No, you were on something there. Keep
wasn't
with it,
I
right?
wasn't-
So you sad when your other friend gets another friend?
No, I mean like it's really hard to explain.
I got all night.
But I mean I can't really explain it because I don't know how.
Okay, so I get jealous over the smallest things. I'm one of the most jealous people I know. So like,
Okay. Yeah.
I just don't know how to describe.
You guys don't really know
Well,
what.
let me just like think about it for a second.
Yeah, we just
All
need a
right.
minute.
Well, listen, I tend to not be that type of jealousy.
Mhm.
I think that was just because of all my past relationships, that you guys all know about.
Yeah, no.
I've learned not to be jealous because it's probably going to not work out for me anyway. But anyway, so jealousy. Anything else with jealousy?
Um,
Jealousy can be a good thing, like I said, if we
Could be.
So-
use it.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
So God is a jealous God, right? He wants our relationship. He wants our communion with Him, and as long as we can, you know, live that life, live that characteristics, and put that out there, for Christ in our relationship, and continue just to focus on Him, right, and not let our mind and eyes wander and pick up on different habits. As long as we continue to focus, on Him, then He'll continue to bless and be a part of it. So, when you're with somebody that's jealous and you're giving them the attention that they want and that they need and that they crave, that person tends to bestow more love upon you. And that's how Christ is. The more you interact and the more you put into God, the more He wants to put into you.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Yeah,
really good
but-
point.
Yeah, that was a good point. But like, what about with like people? Like, I feel like there's like,
Yeah.
I'm here to talk about
if
godly
it's-
stuff.
I got you on the next.
All right, so we've talked about, so now we're going to finish up with our habits. What are the good, the bad, the ugly, the habits and stuff that you guys have? How this, pertains to your Christian walk and your faith? What we can do better or worse?
Okay, you can go first.
okay, so like, what I tend to do is put God second in like everything. You know what I mean? So like, I wake up in the morning. I usually go like work out or like go play basketball or something. Like, I just don't think about like Jesus at all. You know what I mean? So I'll put basketball before him. I'll put friendships before him. I'll put everything before him. That's just like a kind of a bad habit that I have. It's kind of like I like work for some, and then I just totally leave him out of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So, like with school and soccer and church, I get really busy throughout the week. So, it's hard for me to take the time to read my Bible. And so, like, usually when I would do it, I would take time in the morning and I would read it before school. But, sometimes I wouldn't, like, I'd get in a rush because I would oversleep and I would put the sleep over God in that sense, and I'd put soccer over it all the time.
Right.
And it's just a bad habit that I need to get out of.
Well, first off, I mean, I will say this. Thank you for your honesty, but I will tell you that you're not alone in that. I mean, if there's 99% of the people out there will tell you that their time spent, with God is nowhere near where they would want it to be. And it's our responsibility because I've learned, with Eric and I helping out with the youth just this past year, I've learned that you guys are the busiest people that I've ever met in my life. It was not that way when I was growing up. I mean, you guys are in honors classes and there's travel ball now and there's practices every day. There's games, there's extracurricular activities, and then we're asking you to be at church 3 times a week along with, something else that may be spiritual that we want you to do. I completely understand. So you're not alone in that, but we have to figure out how we can modify our life. I will tell you this, and I am the world's worst at this. Every Sunday morning, I get a screen time report of how much time that I've spent on my phone, how much time I've spent on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or just, browsing news articles. And it is, if I could take a fraction of that time, and you can get a lot done in 5 minutes. I will tell you, 5 minutes with God, you can get a ton of things done, reading and praying. I'm never going to be the type of person that gets down there and prays for hours and hours at a time. That's not my spiritual gift. So I will tell you, let's modify our lives. Let's try to do something throughout the week. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's get on the horn with our group text messages that we have out there and be like, hey, did anybody read their Bible today? I didn't. Feel like poop today. Sorry. The Lord's probably ashamed of me. And then let's be encouragement to each other. So, but you're not alone on that. I appreciate the honesty. Closing thoughts. Anybody got anything?
No.
The very first hot plate with Gracie and Ben Appreciate you guys coming on. We'll do more with more guests. No closing thoughts.
No.
Love Jesus.
Love Jesus and catch people on the bounce. That's it. See you later. Cut.